I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got coming up on Chicago Bears Now. Caleb Williams was asked about the Troy Aikman commentary situation. I wasn't going to touch on this. I was going to let it go. But he was asked about it today with the media, so I am going to hit on it a little bit. Is there a kicker competition brewing between Jake Moody and Cairo Santos? We discussed that as well. Plus the latest Bears and Saints injury buzz as the two duke it out at Soldier Field on Sunday. All right, let's talk about the Caleb Williams, Troy Aikman saga. Obviously, Bears fans were having a field day with this during the game on Sunday. Felt like some of Troy Aikman's commentary might have been a little unfair. I'll give kind of bigger thoughts on that at the end of this discussion, but let's just kind of chronological order this situation. So the game happens. Aikman's commentary towards Caleb probably in some cases is fair, but in a lot of cases felt slanted. Caleb posts a bunch of photos. This post wasn't just about Troy Aikman, but said, whoop-de-doo, and then there was a caption that you actually can't see behind this little yellow ribbon here that we could actually flash real quick. But he was asked about it and said, it's fun trolls. I was messing around. It's not a big deal is essentially what he said today. But you can say, he quoted Troy Aikman, said, what does it say there, Cullen? It was lucky, talking about that Swift play. And so, he's having fun. It's social media. The Bears won the game, which is kind of what Caleb said today. We won the game. We're moving on. Here's what Caleb had to say today in terms of, did he meet with Troy Aikman? Did he talk to Troy Aikman before the game? Because for those who don't know, the coaches and a lot of the marquee players before each game, you meet with the broadcast crew. Via Zoom is typically what happens, but sometimes they'll come to your facility as well. It sounds like this one was supposed to be a phone call, and Caleb said this: I didn't get to meet with him. I tried to meet with him. I reached out to try and meet, and it didn't happen. I've moved on from it, played the game, and came out of it 3-2. He was asked, why didn't you meet with them? On a follow-up, he said, I was here late at Hallis Hall, putting in some work. Timing didn't sync up. I was lifting or whatever the case might have been. I tried to call him after that day I was supposed to, like at the end of the day after he was done working out or whatever, or doing film work, whatever it was, and didn't get through. In other words, Troy Aikman didn't answer, didn't follow back, whatever the case may be. So, is there beef? I don't know. I think Caleb's kind of had fun with it. He's seen all the stuff on social media, puts a small part of a bigger Instagram post in there, poking fun, like, hey, it's fun, it's trolls, it's jokes, no big deal. Did Aikman take that personally? Like, was there a scheduled phone call for 7 o'clock and Caleb was still working out or doing film work? He tried to call back at 8:30. Troy didn't answer because he's pissed. I don't know. There's no way for me to know that unless Troy Aikman comments on it later. I'm guessing he will not do that. As far as this whole situation goes, number one, I'm not going to be upset with QB1 working late. Sorry, I know you're supposed to do these broadcaster meetings. He tried to call him. He didn't answer. If it's after the fact, well, Troy doesn't have to answer either. That's his prerogative. But I'm not going to be mad as a fan, as a content creator of this team, to hear that the quarterback is putting in extra work in the building. In fact, that makes me really happy. Two, as far as the whole thing goes, look, I think Troy's good at his job. I actually like that he's willing to be critical, not only with players during the broadcast, but the officials. He's the one guy who will go after officiating. Give him credit. That Rome touchdown, he ripped the official for it. I will say this. Since Caleb's been in the league, the few games that he's called for the Bears, the stuff I've heard, and again, I do these watch parties. I don't hear every clip. I don't hear every play. It does feel like there's a little animosity toward Caleb, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's some backstory we don't know about. I'm not sure. He is perfectly in the right to criticize a play, to do this, to do that. That's his job. But I also think it's fair to say, hey, Jaden Daniels had 2 back-breaking turnovers in that game. He wasn't very critical. Threw a bad red zone pick and a fumble that basically ended the game. And he's ripping Caleb for being late on a throw to Luther Burden. That was his third read and ended up being a 37-yard completion. That's I don't think that's late. He said the throw to Olamide Zaccheaus was high on the shoulder pad. It's like, Troy, he hit him in stride. What are we talking about here? So I like Aikman in general when I'm just watching games, but with the Bears, it does seem a little slanted. But I'm going to leave it there. I don't think any of this really matters. The Bears won the game. They're not going to be on Monday Night Football anymore this year. So it's just kind of an easy spot to move on now. And the Bears got the last laugh. Caleb got the last laugh this time. And I hope it's an awesome rivalry with Jaden Daniels moving forward. And, hopefully Caleb and Troy can talk at some point and just hash this out, whatever beef, if there is any beef, there is, because it seems unnecessary, if I'm being completely honest. All right, show the QB1 some love. He's putting in extra work in the building. There's been a lot of reporting of that this year since Ben Johnson's been on board. So get the 1-8s in the comments for QB1, and let's kind of leave that story where it is unless there's some new development. Okay, is there not a kicker competition brewing? Ben Johnson was asked today if Cairo Santos is healthy, is he your kicker? He gave a simple answer, yes. So he seemed to dismiss the idea that Jake Moody could unseat him at least for now, and that's kind of where I'm leaving it. I think that is actually the right answer, and I know a lot of you guys will disagree. I think for now, that is true. If Cairo Santos was 100% today, I would put him out there to kick against the Saints. But could that change? If he's not 100%, and if Jake Moody kicks well the next couple weeks, could he take over the job? Possibly. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor, Mando. If only Mando could clear up my throat and voice, and I'd have full, voice strength back. That would be great. But they do a lot of other great things when it comes to body odor, which you fellas need to jump on. You can get 20% off all their products with code CHAT at checkout. Fall is here, which means football is here. In other words, it's the best time of the year for the fellas. It's a great time to be out and about, and if you're like me, that includes being outside quite a bit with my son and doing different projects around the house. Don't let body odor sideline you. Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control is for real working guys. Mando is formulated to stop odor before it starts and doesn't mask odor with overwhelming fragrance. Mando has several awesome products, from the deodorant wipe, spray deodorant, stick deodorant, and much more. The best part is that Mando's products are safe from head to toe. Check this out, fellas. With one swipe, you're good to go. This isn't your typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%. This stuff works. The Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. You get a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus you get free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code CHAT. That's code CHAT at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. Go to shopmando.com. Please support the show. Tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits. Smell great doing it. Okay, let's get back to this kicker thing. A potential scenario. As far as I know, Cairo Santos is going to kick this week. Who knows? But let's say he doesn't. Let's say Jake Moody, next 2 games, he's the kicker. Let's say he has 2 really strong performances, especially on long-range kicks, because that is the one thing he for sure can do that Cairo Santos can't. Beyond 55, he's got the leg. Cairo maxes out at about 55, 56, and sometimes bad weather outdoors, it's less than that. Indoors, he can go 56, 57. That's about where he gets capped out. That's a weaker leg in the NFL. But Jake Moody's got a big leg. Caleb Williams said it after the game. He's like, I didn't really know who he was when he got here. Then I saw him hit a 65-yard field goal in practice. What a moment for him. That's one thing he can do. So if he has a couple of good games here and they try a couple long kicks that Cairo couldn't even try, and he makes those, does that change things? Because through one game, I don't think he did such a magical performance that you're changing kickers. Big picture, long term, I think you need to change kickers because in today's NFL, you need a longer leg guy. But for this season, Cairo just has way more skins on the wall. You trust him more when he's within his range. But can Jake Moody show extended consistency? I don't know if 2 more games is that, but if he has 2 really strong games here and connects from long range a couple of times, would that change the narrative potentially? Because another thing to consider is if you are thinking there's a chance Jake Moody could be the long-term kicker, if you're Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, people inside the building, Richard Hightower, well, he's on the practice squad. If he has a couple more good games here after being game day elevated, another team could technically poach him, and he could choose to go sign with that team's 53-man roster. Now, you look at Cairo Santos this year, since doinking that 50-yarder in week 1, he hasn't missed. He's made all his extra points this year. He's 6 for 7 on field goals, including 2 for 3 from 50 plus. There's a narrative out there he sucks from 50 plus. That's not true. When he attempts 50 plus yarders, he makes them quite often. The problem is you can't try 57, 59, end of half, 60, 62 yarders because he doesn't have that leg. He caps out in the mid-50s, maybe late 50s on a turf surface indoors. And in today's NFL, that's on the very weaker side of things. Like the average kicker can at least try 60, 62 yarders, and the really good ones, they'll at least try from 65 plus at the end of the half or the end of the game. But Santos is rock solid when you're in his range. Like you would trust him from 47 more than you would trust Jake Moody from 47. All of the data supports that. That being said, it was a great first game for Jake Moody. It's an awesome story. I hope the Bears are able to retain him and continue to develop him. And if he can prove over an extended stretch, if he gets that opportunity that he can build on this consistency, okay, we can have a new discussion. But I think one game in for the 2025 Chicago Bears, it's a little early to say, yeah, we have a kicker controversy. Let's check back in 2 weeks if he kicks the next 2 weeks. Okay, pick a kicker. Who's your kicker? Type CS for Cairo Santos, JM for Jake Moody. I would love it if Jake Moody was the long-term answer and you had him for the next 10 years. But right now, one game into the Jake Moody Bears era, all things equal, I'm having Cairo Santos as my kicker. Okay, let's talk injuries. The Bears did not practice today. I have been waiting for the injury report as there's still some context to be had there, but they'll just be injury estimates. They have not dropped it yet, so I was going to film like an hour ago, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and go. So keep an eye on Twitter. I'll be retweeting it at HGramNFL when it drops. If there's something major, I'll put a YouTube short out. Obviously, keep an eye on DJ Moore. Curious to see how they list them after they're not practicing today. But tomorrow will be the first big one for the Bears anyway, since they're not practicing today. Checking my phone, still no update. They have not tweeted it out, and I'm filming this 10 minutes till 6 o'clock Central. By the time you watch this video, it will be 6:05 Central once it's published. Here's the Saints injury report. They did practice because they played on Sunday. The Bears played late Monday night, so they're giving their guys an extra rest day here. They're in the building, but they're not practicing. Alvin Kamara, DNP with an ankle. That's notable. We'll keep an eye on that. Isaac Yiadom dealing with the hamstring, did not practice. Chris Olave limited. He's also being connected to trade rumors. Could he get moved this week? Who knows? Alante Taylor limited with the knee issue. And then John Ridgway was full as he's been dealing with a shoulder injury. So it sounds like he's going to be good to go. All right, lots to come on the channel over the next few days. Tomorrow morning, we will have a Week 7 preview, unless there's some major breaking news. We will put out our preview episode, Bears, Saints, and then we'll also go live tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time like we always do. So be sure to subscribe and join us for the latest Chicago Bears news, rumors, injury updates, everything else going on with this football team. My name is Harrison Graham. As always, Bear down.